All right. Welcome to the cert-manager bi-weekly meeting on the 22nd of August 2024. We're joined so far by Robin and Maël and Tim. And we have got a very light agenda today, but I think we can say something about our progress and some issues around our becoming a CNCF project, which Maël is typing into the document at the moment. As far as the 5-minute announcements, I don't think we've got anything particularly to announce. Tim, there's been a couple of releases, right? We did a patch release of cert-manager to fix a problem with to fix a bug in the dynamic certificate renewal for the cert-manager webhook, and we did at the same time we did a release of approval policy, which reuses that library to generate and renew the certificate for its webhook. So that's a new version of cert-manager 1.15.3 and a new version of approval policy, which is 0.16. Is it, Tim?
The latest batch version. Let me check.
We'll put that in the agenda.
0.15.1 is the latest version.
Apologies. Correction. Yeah. 0.15.1 Maël.
And this was found by Eric, actually. Eric found out that his approval policy installation was failing. At least the webhooks were. And then we backtracked it to this issue and we fixed it. This has a higher chance of failing in approval policy since there the rotation duration is much smaller for CA for some reason. The defaults are a bit different than in cert-manager.
Yeah. I have spent a bit of time looking at the Route 53 DNS01 solver. We upgraded the AWS SDK to version 2 in cert-manager 1.15, and it's been difficult for us, the maintainers, to test that because we haven't got ready access to an AWS account with permission to create all of the like workload federation stuff that's needed. Anyway, there may be a bug still in that Route 53 solver. I've been looking at ways we could maybe simplify that code so that the Route 53 solver can properly use the STS Amazon service and use the regional endpoints of that STS service. That's all I've got to say. So shall we, unless there's anything else, Robin, have you got anything you'd like to announce or shout out? And if not, then we shall go on to Maël's one and only agenda item.
No,
Maël.
Nothing from my side. So yeah, go ahead, Maël.
Thanks, Robin.
Yeah, thanks. So when we onboarded, something very new happened to the project. We onboarded a new maintainer that wasn't part of Venafi. Usually we onboard new maintainers that are from Venafi, and since they are colleagues, we trust them for everything. So we give them full privileges. In the governance file, in the governance document, we have two tiers, two senior or high tiers. One called maintainer that includes the right or the privilege of talking to the CNCF or represent the project to the eyes of the CNCF. So maintainer is one level. Eric is a maintainer. And the rest of us are admins. An admin is also a maintainer. And admins have all the privileges like accessing Google Cloud, all the services that we have to log into in order to make things work, including the 1Password account. So I didn't really think much about this, and I wrote a checklist to onboard Eric. And in this checklist, I would say add Eric to the 1Password, and I didn't realize that this is in the admin tier, which he hasn't applied to. And it feels a bit off. And I talked to Josh Berkus, who is the one who reviewed our governance document and approved it. And he said that it's a bit weird because when you have access to the CNCF, or if you are a maintainer to the eyes of the CNCF, which our maintainer tier is the CNCF maintainer level, which means anyone who is a maintainer on the cert-manager project can ask the CNCF through their service desk and ask to be raised as an admin to any service that the CNCF maintains or owns. And since the CNCF owns the projects, they also should own the services or be an admin of all the services that we use, which is the case for 3 or 4 services: Zoom, Google Cloud, Netlify, and GitHub. But we have 7 other services that, so one thing is 7 services that we have aren't known to the CNCF. And second thing is our admin tier is a bit weird because a maintainer is an admin for the CNCF. So either we should change the maintainer tier and do something similar to the cloud custodians project. I can share, I can show on my screen. Can you see my Slack window?
Yeah.
So here on this image, cloud custodian have an extra, on top of maintainer, they have a lead role. The maintainer doesn't have the right to represent the project to the CNCF. So the maintainer role for the CNCF is the lead role in the cloud custodian project. I think that's how they achieved the making sure a person can be a maintainer, approving contributions, which we want for Eric, and have some additional admin privileges, but not everything. And then the lead has all the privileges and can ask extra privileges to the CNCF. That's one way of doing it. But then also Josh talked about the sub-projects ownership, the ownership of the sub-projects. We need to change our governance to take into account the fact that we have sub-projects or people that can only or are willing to be owners or approvers, maintainers of these sub-projects rather than the whole organization's projects. I want your thoughts. I want your thoughts on this, all of you.
So, Eric, for example, or Eric, for example, doesn't want to be an admin. He wants to be able to approve and merge PRs into cert-manager.
Yes, I think that's what
Well,
he said.
I'm not sure if it's cert-manager. He's mostly interested in trust manager approval policy. And the reason he wants partial admin access is because he wants to be able to do releases of trust manager, for example.
Right, right.
So that is what we have tried to accommodate. Right now, we actually did that by making him a maintainer and then giving him GitHub maintainer access on these two projects, or these two GitHub projects. So,
and the problem is that that works, but in theory, Eric could go to the CNCF and create a help desk ticket and say, give me permission to I don't know, become a cert-manager organizational admin and change things which we didn't expect him to be able to change.
I don't think
Not that he
that
would.
is necessarily something I'm scared about personally or concerned about. I think for me, what is important is to not give him super wide admin privileges right now, since that could lead to, like, maybe in case of a compromise, to unnecessary problems, where otherwise if he has to like send this CNCF ticket, there will be some track record of what's actually happening, I think. I would rather have that than some situation in which maybe some kind of personal access token leads to random artifacts to be published for cert-manager, for example. So I think that is more interesting there. I'm definitely not against all maintainers being able to like kind of self-upgrade their own privileges, as long as there's some kind of track record there. Also, I think it's quite good to maybe not have him as an admin on certain projects where he's less involved with, so that people also don't expect him to do stuff there. So those are kind of the reasons I think it's still useful to have kind of partial administrator privileges and not give everyone access to all privileges out of the box.
I like this idea. I didn't realize this view that you gave, this explanation is good. Like, okay, we start with nothing, but we are maintainers, and along, like we have tasks to do. For example, we have to release something. We go to the infrastructure project and find that we need to ask various accesses. We go to the service desk, the CNCF service desk, ask for these privileges, and you're right. Like we can raise privileges, ask privileges ourselves by going through the service desk. That's great. Like I wish we could do that, because I think that's how the CNCF intends to make things work. I'm okay if we go with that. Like we say maintainer equals admin, except we don't give you don't get access to everything. You have to ask the service desk when you want to do something. And of course, you will keep the privilege afterwards, but at least we have a record, as you said, and we have less risk of escalation. And because, for example, myself, I don't think I should have access to everything. And yeah, I could drop a few privileges and gain them back by opening a ticket, and they have an SLA and everything. The service desk is really convenient, well done. They respond quickly. So
They've got no
Okay.
way of granting us temporary privileges, though, have they? I mean,
oh, we could
if-
ask them. We could ask them. We could talk to them and say we want to increase our security posture, blah blah blah. And is it possible to have like a temporary someone who disables the privilege after a month, and then the person has to re-ask again. Then the CNCF has a record of everything. We are confident that everybody doesn't have like there is no one person that has every possible access for no reason.
I think it's also better
Yeah.
to like. I think if someone were to get hacked or get owned, it will be much more effort to go to CNCF, ask for some kind of privileges and so on, like to kind of elevate yourself. I don't think a hacker will necessarily go through that effort while just kind of misusing some privilege that you already have is much easier, I think. If you have excessive privileges on like OCI artifacts, for example, or on GitHub, then it's pretty easy to kind of say, okay, well, now for all my GitHub projects, I'll just delete them, or I'll upload this virus, or I'll upload these artifacts. So we can like limit who can do that, and maybe kind of add some kind of path to self-upgrade yourself in case you actually need it. Maybe there's some kind of automation failure, or there's something that needs to be done. I think that's a great way to kind of set it up.
I like it. Well, I guess the next step would be to ask the CNCF how they could. I made a list in the cert-manager dev channel, a big list of the services that aren't owned, or the CNCF doesn't have an account to manage it. The CNCF is not admin of these services, so I could ask them if they can take over, because many of these services are actually things that they offer as a service, so they could manage it. They could manage them for us.
well, that example of pushing a compromised Docker image to Quay, but I would rather not have permission to push to the Quay registries. I don't need it because everything is automated. Everything that pushes to that registry is via a CI, I think. So should we aim to have fewer or maybe no admin team members at all? Like none of us should have on our laptops the credentials for Quay.
In my opinion, that's how we should solve it. But we also need to account for people who are changing the infrastructure and who need to make changes. Like, for example, if you create a new project, you might have to create a robots account and link that to GitHub. So GitHub, the automation can push to that KIO site. So we kind of have to account for that and make sure that's still possible without involving or without adding this step of always contacting CNCF, which might make things 10x more complex, for example.
Well, that's not a bad thing in that it would encourage us to automate more. I wouldn't, if I had to go to the CNCF help desk every time I needed to send the release announcement tweet, I'd be more inclined to go and figure out how to automate that step.
Yeah, but if you're developing the automation, you also need to be able to. I think for KIO, for example, it's definitely possible to not give us as individuals privileges, but we still need some kind of account that we can use to make admin change. I believe.
Yeah, that it's fair to, but if we all drop our permissions, and Tim, you're the one who had to do this, you would go to the CNCF, say, I'm going to have to add a bot and stuff like that. Can you make me admin? Yeah, that's fine, right? I'm totally okay with this. Well, yes, we should have this automated and everything, but we have good reasons to have this permission. But I never used this permission, so why should I have the permission? I'm happy having to ask the CNCF. It's really quick, so I'm happy.
Well, I'm not sure how quick it is. I haven't tried it yet.
They're pretty effective. Like they have an SLA first, like it's 48 hours, and you can still ping them in the CNCF Slack if it's too slow. It's pretty good.
Is there this audit trail? Like, are we able to see which of the maintainers has made which requests to the help desk, and which of them have been accepted and which of them have been declined?
Let's see. I do not remember exactly. I think there is a trail, yes.
I'll be curious if there's an
can you see my
approval step. Yes, we can.
There are requests. Oh. Yes, we see everything from I don't know who.
That's cool.
I'm not sure I'm seeing everything. Oh yeah, I'm seeing everything from our like cert-manager group. So yes, we have an audit trail of everything that is happening. Add Adam, for example, here. Migrates, DNS servers, Netlify. So it's, yeah, I think this solution of going through the IT service desk is fine.
Would there
Maybe
be would there be a peer approval on this one? So, for example, if someone does request permissions that perhaps they don't need, would that be an automatic, or would CNCF be looking for a peer approval on the other maintainers to say, actually, let's have somebody review this from the actual projects to ensure this is the permissions that we should be giving?
Right now there is no peer permission or peer review. So you go to the service desk and whoever is on the other end is going to approve or not, and that's it. But we could, again, that's another question to the CNCF. CNCF is highly, they care about security, and that's the sort of thing we can talk to them about. We can say, when giving admin privileges to a person, can you have an approval from another maintainer, just as a sanity check? Or I don't think we have ever asked for privileges in the past. Maybe. Oh, I did. Zoom. I asked for a Zoom account. Oh, and they go, oh, wait, what?
So that's going to need blurring up.
Crap. I didn't mean to.
I should just stop asking questions. I always get people in trouble when I ask questions. At the same time, who puts passwords into a support ticket? In any case,
that was also surprising to me. Okay, that was a great discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious.
Juliano's AI bot has got the screen capture of that.
How quickly can
Oh,
you
it's
change your
just change the
password?
password. It's in one password, so it's going to be really easy to change.
I wonder
No,
if
I'll
we
be
can.
curious to see the output on this one, because one of the reasons why I like being on these weekly meetings as you're becoming more graduated towards CNCF graduation is seeing how CNCF assists and the elements that I don't see where I am currently with contributing to other projects. So if you don't mind, if whatever the outcome is from those discussions, if you're willing to and able to share them in these meetings, it'll be great context for people like myself to get more visibility into CNCF and how it helps your projects.
Oh yeah, let's report in this meeting. And I'll also make sure to have people at the CNCF that are curious about this aware, like Josh, for example. Josh Berkus. Okay.
So
Has anyone else?
what have
Yeah,
we
go ahead.
decided? Have we made any decisions? Or are there any proposals which we can?
I wonder if we can use maybe one password also to keep track of who is accessing what when. It would be cool if one password had like an approval system where you could say, I want to access this credential, please allow me to. And then someone else has to approve it.
So the is okay. So can I try answering your question, Richard? The proposal would be to maybe drop all the permissions, or at least new maintainers come with no permissions. We work with the CNCF to give them admin access to all of our services. And in order to gain a privilege, get access to a service as an admin, the maintainer will go to the service desk, ask for this privilege, and yeah, that's it. It's as easy as this. I'm asking a question. Would you be okay losing the most of your permissions, except the ones that you use regularly? For example, I would like to lose my key. I don't know if it's even possible because we have one password, and it's just one password means if you have access to one password, you have access to everything admin. But yeah.
I would be happy to lose that privilege, yes, but as you say, it's difficult to.
Okay.
I would like to lose the Google Cloud privilege because I feel like one day I'm going to make a massive mistake and do something in the wrong project.
I'd love to lose it also. Would be a nice way of of saying that, oh, I cannot release this.
Okay, well, that sounds like we have got something concrete that we can work with.
And then we would move this sentence as soon as obviously I need the other maintainers to be part of this, but move this to the governance document.
I think it would be good to add CNCF to the one password that we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure about dropping my privileges at this point because I quite often have to make like infrastructure changes or have to look at it at least.
You have
maybe
to
that will
because
change.
you're still in the process of moving everything to the new Google Cloud project, aren't you, Tim?
Well, it has been some time since I actually did that. So maybe it would be possible to drop it, but then, yeah, then I also won't be able to help you if it breaks at some point.
You often log into the test clusters, don't you, to look what's going on with Prow and things like that.
Yes. Well, often is like it has been a while since I've done that, but
I
I've done that in
noticed the other day when I look at the Prow web UI, it tells me if I want to rerun a job, just copy and paste this YAML and apply it to the Prow cluster. And I thought, well, that sounds difficult, but I didn't know whether anyone else regularly does that.
And that's actually also interesting. I don't think right now you have access to you can have access to Google through 1Password actually. So Google is managed. Well, it's actually quite interesting. It's managed kind of recursively almost. There's this infrastructure repository that has a list of people that have admin access. Let me get that list for you.
What do you mean? Do you mean Google Cloud, the project, Google Cloud Platform?
Yeah,
Which
everything
follow?
that all the cert-managed stuff we have on Google Cloud. It's basically these 5 email addresses have admin access on all those resources.
Are you talking about the infrastructure project?
Yeah, that's where it is defined. I sent another link that has the file where actually the definition is for the people that have admin access.
Oh, I do have admin access. Oh, I now know where to lose it, where to remove it. I can remove it here.
Indeed. But it's not the case that through 1Password you have access to this infrastructure, right? There's no 1Password email address or something that is in here.
No 1Password address. Do you mean one account? Like in 1Password, we only store the things that we can't have multiple users, where we cannot have multiple users. But for Google, it's different. We can just add the person as a user.
Yeah.
We
could do that
we
for
have an audit trail, like a really easy audit trail.
For example, Key.io could also have a list of all the individual developers, right? Instead of one maintainer account that's in 1Password right now.
Exactly, that would be much better. Or if we go down the road of more things managed by the CNCF, then they would be the admin and they would add us. They would add me, for example. I would ask them, I need to access key.io because we found this image that needs to be, I don't know, replaced, or I need to create a bot account or whatever. And they would add my email or invite me using my email, my maintainer email.
They can already do that actually. So CNCF already, since on Google Cloud, the projects are actually subfolders of the CNCF Google Cloud organization. They have admin privileges to add new maintainers and so on. On the Google Cloud projects outside of the Terraform.
I think that's how they do the Zoom also. Somehow they do, like they manage our Zoom accounts somehow. I don't know how, but I do know that they manage it.
So maybe there's not really an action point here except for removing a few emails. CNCF can add us back.
Oh.
And of course, the other action point is to add CNCF account to 1Password.
And I would like us to not use 1Password for sensitive things. I'm okay if it's for, what is it? What do we have in 1Password? maybe I shouldn't show my password. I'll leak another few passwords, but no, I will, because I need to. Come on. We have a few ones here, and some of them are really sensitive, I think. Okay, the key IO is super sensitive. Like, we should not have this in 1Password. If we share admin access to everybody using 1Password, it shouldn't be for sensitive services such as key IO. I propose that we find another way. We don't share one account like this. We share. We ask the CNCF to invite us individually. Something like this.
We can have multiple vaults on 1Password. We can have like a privileged vault or something.
Yeah, but it's still one account, right? It's one account. Like, it's when I use this account, I'm impersonating whoever. I'm impersonating the maintainers. We don't know who used this, who went to the key.io account and removed all the images. Yeah, I'm okay with the 1Password thing. I'm not okay with having important accounts like this one. Okay, I'll record this here. Remove sensitive or critical. Again, like, you can create another. Oh yeah, you could ask the CNCF to move us or add us to the privileged 1Password vault. Is that what you meant, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I will close this because I might I might click on the wrong button and everybody's going to see everything. And by the way, I will rotate the Zoom password. Is that okay with you, Tim, Richard?
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
I just leaked it. Okay.
But how do you do that? How can you do that? Because I thought that was given to you by the CNCF.
Yeah, but I can say reset my password and then use, because the email is the cert-manager CNCF at cncf.fr. I don't know. It's the maintainer's mailing list. So I will receive a reset link to that email and I'll click it and then reset the password. But I think they manage the account differently. They have like a super account or something. I don't know how they deal with this. Maybe I should ask them. Okay. Do we have any other topic?
I wonder if there's a way to like see who accessed something in 1Password. Like, what if the KIO credentials are in 1Password, but like every time you use them, maybe you have to give some kind of explanation and you have to, similar to the service desk, but kind of automated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And maybe the admin role in the governance document could be some kind of super admin. It's kind of similar to CNCF. I don't know.
But doesn't 1Password always gives you the option just to copy and paste the password, doesn't it? So it wouldn't. The audit trail would only be useful for the first time someone accessed that password.
You aren't allowed to copy paste passwords. You have to always use one password.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Do they have a mechanism for preventing you?
No.
All right. You're just saying it's good practice.
Yeah, it's forbidden by law.
I'm going to. I want to. I want to leave.
Yeah, so do I. Let's wrap this conversation up. Quickly ask, is anyone got any other final remarks? And if not, then we shall call a close to the meeting and see you all in 2 weeks. Thanks.
See you. And subscribe. Subscribe to our excellent channel, of course. Bye.
Bye.
Is the recording stopped? No.